I know almost everything except the things he decided not to answer. And even some of those he answered and then said this doesn't go in the books. Yeah, I know quite a number of things that you really want to know. So yeah, anyway, moving on.
Kind of in the same vein, without spoiling anything. Can you talk about that moment when you received those materials and you read and you finally knew, like, any reveal?
That's a great question. How did it feel when I got those materials? It happened. It happened when we got the call from Harriet. We had the shortest contract negotiations of my life. My poor agent. I never let him do anything because I called him and said, they want me. And he said, well, we'll see what the conditions are. And I said, oh no, we're going to say yes. I don't care what the conditions are, we're saying yes. And he just like, oh man, not again. So the contract came and we said yes and sent it back. It was 1 week's worth to get the contract signed. By contrast, both the Mistborn movie and the Alcatraz movie took about 14 months to sign the contracts on. Elantris, the original book deal, took about 7 months. So even when something's going really well and easy, it takes a long time to do contracts. Not here. Within a few weeks, I was flying to Charleston. I was there when the announcement was made on December 11th, I believe it was. That night, it was a long flight, 5-hour flight, 6-hour flight, something like that, from Salt Lake to Charleston, so you have to stop in Atlanta. And Harriet knew I was really tired. She picked me up. I got to meet her for the first time. And drove me to the house. By the way, Robert Jordan's house is awesome. It's Harriet's ancestral home. It's in Charleston, like a few blocks from the Battery. It's like, it was built in the 1700s. There are houses just a short distance away that still have musket balls in them from the Civil War. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And so she took me in and she said, well, I fixed some black bean soup, Brandon. Do you want something to eat? And I looked at her and I said, no, please, I want the ending. Because I knew that Robert Jordan had finished the ending before he passed away. It's one of the things he wrote on the series was the very ending, the last few scenes that he'd been promising us. And I got to sit down and read those, and taped to on a post-it at the top was Who Killed Asmodean. And I think reading that, there were two emotions swirling with me. One was reverence. I was one of very few people who got to read this, and this was the last work that he had done. There was a whole lot of reverence in holding those. And then the other was satisfaction. It was a very satisfying ending. I really liked the ending. It's what I've been waiting for. And I was there. It relieved a lot of pressure from me when I read that and realized how much I liked it. As a fan, that's what I wanted. So yeah, relief and reverence. All right, let's go right here.
Warbreaker.
Warbreaker.
One of your
Yes.
probably best prose so far.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I worked a lot on it. So
I hear you're going to do Nightblood sequel.
am I going to do Nightblood, the sequel to Warbreaker? Eventually, someday I will. Right now, I have a few things on my plate. I would like to do that. If I do, I will post it online chapter by chapter as I write it as I did with Warbreaker.
And probably after Way of Kings.
And after Way of Kings. Way of Kings is going to be my next series, and I will alternate. Way of Kings, I'll do a book or two, and then a side project book, and then Way of Kings, a book or two, and then a side project book. All right, right here.
When you write, how often do you write the ending to a novel or to a series before working on the middle chapter?
How often do I write the ending before? I actually never do. I always plot it first. I build my outlines backward, start with what I want to have happen, and then lay the groundwork, and then I write it forward, reaching for that point. That's just how the process works well for me. All right, we have time for one more, so right here.
Yeah, you talked about the ending of the series, and can you compare that to the prologue you read earlier and how he had completed some of it and then you had to complete some of it? How complete is that ending?
The ending, actually, I will have to do very little to. He actually typed it. He didn't dictate it or anything like that. They're actually very much that I can just paste in. Now, it is rough draft, so it will have to be edited, but it's more complete than even this prologue, which was one of the most complete things we had, so that's pretty cool. All right, so there are a few things I need to go over. So don't start shifting in your chairs yet. This is like the 5 minutes before the bell rings, right?